Okay guys, this is our mental challenge for self-discipline for week 6. Now, we talked a little bit about mental discipline for our week 5 challenge. And with self-discipline, again, self-discipline is knowing what we should do but doing it on our own. Okay? Here's the thing though, something a little bit more to it a lot of times. A lot of times it's knowing what we should do and doing it on our own, but also it's knowing what we should do and probably not wanting to do that thing, but still doing it. Okay, so for example, if we have to do a chore, let's say your parents want you to take out the trash or they want you to clean your room. You might not feel like doing it. You might not want to do it, but you know you should do it. If you do that thing, that's having self-discipline, okay? What about doing your homework? It might not be fun to do our homework, right? But if you do your homework, you're having self-discipline. What about even in martial arts? Okay, martial arts can be a lot of fun. But sometimes you might not feel like training. Sometimes you might not feel, you might feel like, I just want to play video games all day, okay? You might just want to stay home and watch TV. That can happen, right? But saying, no, I'm going to get up and I'm going to go train. I'm going to go work. That's having self-discipline, okay? Here's the other thing too. If you don't have self-discipline and you don't do these things, how do you feel later on when you get asked about them? So what if your dad or your mom wanted you to clean your room or take out the trash? And the day went by and you didn't do it. And now your mom or dad says, hey, did you take out the trash? What happens if you didn't do it? How do you feel? You might even get in trouble, right? But instead, if your mom says, hey, did you take out the trash? And you did it, how do you feel? Oh yeah, I did it already. Okay, you feel good about that, right? What about doing your homework? You might not feel like doing your homework, but if you have self-discipline and you do it and you finish your homework, how does it feel to turn that into the teacher? How does it feel to have it completed and done? It feels really good, right? And same thing with martial arts training. Sometimes you might not feel like training. I can't tell you, over the last 20 years I've been teaching martial arts, I can't tell you how many times somebody has come in the door and they just didn't feel like training. But their mom and dad brought them and they're here. And I usually talk to them and say, well, you're here, so why don't we just train anyway? And then they do the class and they get in there and all of a sudden they start having a good time. They're happy they did it. And then they earn their stripe on their belt and they're closer to getting their next belt level. So afterwards, you're glad when you do these things. But a lot of times with self-discipline, we might not feel like doing it right then and there. But having self-discipline helps us push through it and do that thing. Also, having self-discipline is kind of like having special glasses that lets you see into the future. Okay, how can this help you see into the future? Okay, well, what do you want to be? What do you want to accomplish? What do you want to do? What do you want to have? To do these things, you have to have self-discipline. If you say, I want to become a black belt, okay, that's great, that's fantastic. How do you do that? If you can see yourself in the future as a black belt, okay, you have these glasses, you can see yourself. Self-discipline helps you get there. Self-discipline helps you accomplish that because self-discipline helps you train. It helps you work harder. It helps you show up. It helps you do your best. And if you keep doing that over and over and over again, and you have the self-discipline, you're going to earn your black belt. Just like you could see into the future, self-discipline helps you accomplish that thing. Okay? Now, the questions for this challenge, there's 2 questions. The first question is, and parents, you might need to help your kids with this one. I'm going to see if you guys can do this, but again, parents, you can help. What is something you want to be? What is something you want to have? What is something you want to accomplish? What is something you want to do? So let's say that you want to become an astronaut, or you want to become a veterinarian, or you want to become a police officer, okay? What's something you want to have? Maybe you want to have a special car someday, okay? Maybe you want to travel around the world. Maybe you want to become a black belt, okay? What is something you want to do? What is something you want to achieve? So that's the first question is, I want you to write down what is something you want to do, what is something you want to have, what is something you want to get, what is something you want to accomplish. Write that down. And this could be something in a month, in a year, in 10 years, 20 years. What is something you want to get or have or be? Write that down. Below that, the second question is, how is self-discipline going to help you accomplish that task? How will self-discipline help you? Why do you need to have self-discipline? What about self-discipline is going to help you achieve this? So if you want to become a veterinarian, the self-discipline you're going to need is to go to school. You're going to have to study a lot. Okay, that's great that you need self-discipline to study. You need self-discipline to do your homework. Having self-discipline is going to help you become a veterinarian. What if you want to become an astronaut? Same thing. You have to have self-discipline to go to school and study, right? What if you want to have a fancy car someday? Okay, great. What do you have to get? Well, you have to be able to buy it. So you have to have the self-discipline to work hard and to get a good job, maybe study hard in school to be able to have a good career, something you enjoy. If you want to travel around the world, same thing. If you don't have any money, it's kind of hard to travel around the world. So, okay, I want to go places around the world. Okay, well, you have to have the self-discipline to work hard, to study, same thing, right? What if you want to become a black belt? Well, you need to have the self-discipline to show up to class, to train, and to put in that effort, okay? Now, I also have a student. We have a student come here, and he's going to eventually watch this, so you're going to see this. But a lot of you, some of you have heard this story, some of you haven't. We have a student who wanted to get the Lego Death Star set. He really wanted to get this Lego Death Star set. And his parents said, yeah, you can get it, but you have to buy it. You have to buy it with your own money. So he had to have self-discipline to save the money to buy that Lego Death Star set. And he did. He saved and he saved. He worked really hard. And having that self-discipline, he didn't feel like probably saving and saving and saving. There's probably times where he rather would have taken that money and buy a different toy or buy some candy or do something else. But he said, nope, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to save. I'm going to be patient. He had the self-discipline to be patient. He had the self-discipline to hold on to that money and to wait and to wait and to wait. And eventually he was able to buy that Lego Death Star set. So that's something he wanted to have, and the self-discipline helped him wait, helped him be patient, helped him save that money, okay? So that's the task I want you guys thinking about. What is something you want to do? What is something you want to be? What is something you want to have or accomplish? And how can self-discipline help you accomplish that task?